we want to continue our coverage when it comes to these wildfires that are burning across Los Angeles County. Take a look at this. You may have seen images similar to this the past few days as really impressive, just the different tactics that are being used to combat and really contain a lot of these flames. So joining us next on our program, we're going to have Jeff Emery. He is the president of Global Fire Safety at Perimeter Solutions. And Perimeter Solutions is the makers of FosCheck fire retardant, which is being dropped day and night to protect communities from fires, similar to what you're seeing here on your screen. So Jeff, good to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Carel.
So I want you to break down the basics for us, right? Because I don't think anybody really, or maybe a lot of people don't know exactly what this chemical is. Can you tell us what it's made of exactly and how and why it's so effective when we're talking about fighting fires?
Absolutely. So the red stuff that everybody has been seeing on TV this week, falling from the planes, is actually called FosCheck. And specifically in California, the product that's being used is FosCheck MVP. Essentially, the main ingredient of FosCheck is ammonium phosphate. It's a product that is very unique in the industry. And the unique part about it, as compared to waters or foams or gels, is that it actually creates a chemical reaction with the wood on the ground, the cellulose material. When FosCheck coats that material and then it's exposed to fire and heat, it actually creates a carbon char around that wood to prevent it from burning. The value that it provides here is immense in these types of situations. And what it does is twofold, right? One, it slows down and minimizes the intensity of that fire. And two, it gives the firefighters on the ground the chance to do their critical job, which is to put that fire out. And so we're really proud of the work that our team has done this week in stepping right into action, being available right away Tuesday and throughout the week, 24 hours a day, to be ready to support the pilots doing the work.
So Jeff, I'd like you to go into a little bit more details as to how your team has really been helping, kind of the tactics used, and also how your team decides, along with state and local officials, where to draw this perimeter, which is best to kind of throw this chemical on.
Yeah, of course. So the unique thing about this fire, of course, is the time of the year. In prior years, the bases that have been flying most of the aerial firefighting activity out of, Fox and San Bernardino, would typically be closed. And I give a lot of kudos to the Forest Service and CAL FIRE and their predictive services. They saw the risk all the way back in December, extended those bases. So we were already staffed. We already had inventory. We were already ready to deliver, and there were planes on the ground ready to go before this fire ever hit. And very quickly, once the fire started last Tuesday, we immediately pre-deployed a whole bunch of equipment. We have mobile ground retardant systems that can be put in a little bit closer to the fire to support helicopter operations. We worked with the agencies to open 2 additional bases in Channel Islands and Santa Maria, and it gave the full power of the aerial firefighting capability to the scene as quickly as the winds and the environmental conditions would allow. In terms of where they decide to do it, typically in a situation like that, you have air attack. Air attack is going to be flying above the scene. They're going to be monitoring the situation. They're going to be looking at where the biggest need is, and they're going to be directing those pilots on where to put the lines. You see the red color of this. The reason for that is so you can get a continuous line around that perimeter, leave no breaks where that fire could escape through. And as you see in a lot of the pictures, these pilots have done just an amazing job in windy conditions in many cases of creating those lines and creating the necessary fire breaks to help to get these fires under control.
Speaking on these windy conditions, it's just one of the challenges when you're working to kind of curb these fires, make sure people stay safe, and you can really draw that perimeter with this chemical. What other challenges have you seen your team face during this specific firefight?
Yeah, it's a chaotic situation when you have multiple fires happening at the same time, the level of destruction and the high intensity of the winds. I think for our team, and I could probably speak for the pilots there, the biggest challenge they faced is this team, just like the firefighters on the ground, they want to make an impact. They want to save communities. They want to save lives every moment they have. And that first day or day and a half, they were being told they couldn't fly. And we had to sort of stand down and wait till the wind conditions were allowed by Wednesday. And there were pockets during the day, and every available pocket, they got those aircraft up in the air. And I think that was one of the bigger challenges for us. This is kind of what we do each season, and I think it's been on full display this week. In a normal season, we're going to be supporting over 60 air bases across the country, and any given day, you don't know when those will be active and when those big fires will break out. And so we're trained to do this. The pilots are trained to do this, and the agencies are trained. And I think the teams have done a fantastic job coordinating efforts, working as quickly as conditions would allow, not only during the day, but also throughout the night in being able to manage those operations at the night and attack the fires and with both direct attack and indirect every opportunity we've had.
So I'm glad you brought that point up because it segues me to my next question. We're taking a live image right now out of Skyfox over Los Angeles County, but this is during the day. Operations like this are critical at night as well. And I understand that it's a particularly unique situation to Southern California. Can you talk to me about some of those suppression efforts that occur overnight?
Yeah, of course. And you're right, it is incredibly unique. In fact, the counties of Ventura County, Orange County, and LA County have a combined program called the Quick Reaction Force. It is the only program in the world where there are nighttime retardant dropping operations that are available, and it's enabled by a couple of Chinook helicopters with some really great technology that allows the pilots to operate safely in those night conditions. There's also a CAL FIRE program, and you've seen it in full display to be able to drop water and do that direct attack at night. And all of those challenges of firefighting there during the day exist, but you have the added challenges of visibility. You're flying low around a lot of obstacles down near the ground, and it's only due to some really great technologies that's emerged in the past few years that's enabled this type of operation. And it's a lifesaver. It can keep a small fire from becoming a big fire, and we saw that throughout the 2024 fire season this year with a really active program and with that QRF, that Quick Reaction Force program that was put into place.
I want to go back to the actual chemical that's used during these operations. It's that red stuff that we're seeing being spewed from these planes. I'm going to put up the video up one more time here for our viewers, just to give them a sense of this. So I'm seeing that a lot of this is spread kind of away from homes. But is this ever spread like maybe close to neighborhoods? And what happens if this does land on your home? Is this toxic? How do you clean this up? How does that work?
Yeah, it's actually a very benign product. It's very similar, as I mentioned earlier, to a fertilizer product, just in a very, very diluted form. You will oftentimes see the fire laid partially inside, partially outside the fire. And in a case like this week, where there's structures immediately threatened, you will see the line go right through backyards, and sometimes it will land around or close to or on a house. The product is not dangerous for pets. It's not dangerous for the people. There is no long-term effects of being around it after the fact. And in fact, that red color, once it's exposed to UV rays, goes away. But the life safety measures that have to be taken in those cases demand that the pilots sometimes put it relatively close to a community. We do have, and there have been many of our own teams and our partners have been out providing local response and protection of communities using retardant on the ground as well. It's not just through the air that retardant is used. And those ground-based systems are really critical. You see a situation this week where water is in short supply, and the demands of water have just been enormous this week, as you guys have reported many times. Using retardant in those areas allows you to lay that, have a level of protection ahead of the fire coming, and minimize the amount of water required for some of that protection. And so we think it's a great tool, and it's been used across the LA area in many cases over the course of the last week.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to double down on the safety of this product. I'm sure, people are frazzled at this moment. Everything happens so quickly. So I think it's important just to emphasize that it is safe, and really the life-saving factor of this is just, you know, very important, to say the least, during this time.
Yeah, we're
But
really proud of our team on the ground. We're proud of the people that have been up there fighting from the air, and we feel for the communities that have been impacted, and just know that those teams have been doing everything in their power to try to protect every bit of land and every bit of property we can.
It is really great to see through all this devastation, all of the support that has poured in from so many different agencies and programs, partnerships, just as what you have provided as well here. But Jeff, before I let you go, is there anything else you feel like you would like to add about this firefight, or maybe just another comment to any of the viewers watching that have been really impacted by this situation?
Our hearts go out to the people that are impacted. We're also standing side by side with the firefighters. You now have a tired group out there that's been fighting this just unprecedented fire for the course of the past week, working night and day, eliminating their breaks and jumping right back out on the line to make sure that they can do everything they can. And this is one of those events with the combination of winds and conditions on the ground that was virtually unstoppable in those early days. But we've seen so many examples of the heroic actions of the firefighters on the ground. And our mission as a company is really to protect those firefighters and allow them to do their job safely. And we just couldn't be, can't say enough about the work that they've done to protect the communities and try to do everything in their power through this tough week.
Well, Jeff Emery, President of Global Fire Safety at Perimeter Solutions, we do appreciate your time here at Live Now from Fox. I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing during this time, very uncertain for a lot of people, but life-saving measures taken from so many different groups. So we appreciate it, and I hope to check in soon. Take care.
All right. Thanks again, Carel.
Of course.